All right, yeah. I see the greetings to Ocean being put in the group. How y'all doing? We got a couple of minutes before we get started. So I'm going to set everything up, get the information that we're using, and I got to fix this light. Let's see, is that any better? Still a little bit dark. Remove this light, guys. So that we got a little light on my face. That might do it. Let's see. It's a little bit better. I may have to shift where I am. Okay, let's try it like that. See if that improves it. Okay, just a hint better, not much. This might do it for us. Okay, I think that does it. All right, greetings. We still got a couple of minutes before 8:30, so give me a chance to pull up the rest of the information I'm going to be using for tonight's class, and at 8:30 we will get started. All right, we have 1 minute. And I'm going to put links in the chat to the information that I will be using. All right. It is 8:30, so we are going to begin. So I am putting the links up in the chat to the information that I'm going to be using tonight so that you will have access to it and you can go and do further study and research on your own. Okay, give me just one more second. I'm going to share just one other resource and then we will get started. Kale, good to see you. All right. Greetings to everyone. Welcome to this free class. This was inspired by different things that I've seen here recently on social media, but not just that, but by the lives of Black women in general. Usually, when we meet for class, we begin by giving praise and honor to the forces that make it possible for us to be here. But tonight, because it is a free class, the invocations that we use for the other classes, those are for the coven. Those are for the group. Those are for the members. So for those of you all who are members and who usually are here for the membership classes, we won't be using those invocations this evening. The invocations are for us, for us to hold dear. If you would like to join the coven, I guess that's another link I need to put up in here. So let me do that right quick. I am creating at this time a coven membership. And it's going to give you 20% off of the classes that I teach weekly. And also we're going to add to the class a 30-minute mentorship after each class. And only people who are in the membership will be able to participate in the mentorship. And the mentorship is going to take place on Zoom. But let's get into that. So what we're looking at right now, tomorrow, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow is the autumn equinox. So for witches like you and like myself, this is the beginning of some of the most important sabbats, some of the most important holy times, some of the most important energetic shifts that take place on Earth Mother Onile annually. This is the beginning, right? Tomorrow will be the beginning. That is the autumn equinox. So for the autumn equinox, this is the time when the day and the night are the same length, right? So we've just come out of the time of light. It was summer. There was warmth. The days were longer. And as Earth Mother Onile dances through the universe, the days begin to get shorter and shorter and shorter because she's dancing a little bit more closely to the darkness, right? And so tomorrow, the place that we will be in our circle, remember we talked about how time is a circle and how we hit the same spot on the circle over and over again. So tomorrow, the place that we're hitting on that circle is what is called the autumn equinox. In the Celtic language, Celtic people were black and brown. It is called Mabon, right? And this is the beginning of our descent into the darkness. Now we descend into the darkness because the darkness is where all comes from. The darkness is the origin of the all, right? So every cycle of Earth Mother Onile's dance, we must descend into the darkness and then we ascend back into the light. We are not practicing an Abrahamic tradition where we judge one of those over the other. There is no hierarchy in those two energies. Both of those energies are interdependent and both of those energies are necessary for us, those who are living on the back of our great mother, Earth Mother Onile. So tomorrow she is dancing close to the darkness And before our descent, we have a moment when the darkness and the light are equal. So that's what is happening tomorrow. After that, the darkness will continue to gain power, gain power, gain power. And these sabbats that come at this time are some of the most important spiritually vibrant times for us to be practicing our magic and for us to be making sure that we're using our energy to pull to us what we need and want and what we are trying to create with our destiny, right? All of those parts of our destinies that we are entitled to. So, to celebrate this moment of moving into the darkness, I feel the energetic shift when Earth Mother Onile begins to move into the darkness. I am a person who feels that. And so I always pivot. No matter what I'm doing in life, I know that this is a time that I'm going to naturally pivot. A big change is going to come. Something is going to be different. So last year, as we were moving into the darkness, I was writing the grimoire, the magical textbook, 2023 Grimoire of the Black Witch. This year, I have created a witchy membership, a Black witchy membership, right? And this membership I'm calling the Kinship Coven, right? I want us to think about a kinship circle, but I want us to also remember that we are a coven. We are a group of witches practicing together. So the Kinship Coven membership is going to cover the 12 spells that are in this book. We are going to, as a group, do each of the spells together. I'm going to do a deep dive for each spell, and then we'll have an hour-long class where we cover the spell, we do a deep dive, then we'll have a 30-minute mentorship where we will speak as witches of the magical things that are happening in our life that week, how we know that it's connected to the spells that we are performing during that time. And we'll offer each other solutions, right? If solutions are needed, we'll offer each other solutions during the mentorship. So that is the Kinship Coven. There is a link to it here. If you look up, it says Got to Be Oshun, plans, pricing. That is the link to the Kinship Coven. That is what we will be doing, not this week. This week we're doing the free class. Next week we are doing Close Encounters of the African Kind. And the week after that is when your Kinship Coven classes will begin. However, if you purchase the classes now, you will be ready and you will have all of your links to begin that entire 12-week process. Okay. So tonight, as I was working, as I was creating, as I was researching, and as I was writing today, many of the things that it will not necessarily replace Witchy Wednesday, but these are the next 12 topics for Witchy Wednesday. So if you wanted to purchase each Witchy Wednesday separately, you still have the option of doing that. All of those events are on the site. So if you want to just participate in that way, that's fine. But if you want to buy the membership, yes, the classes will be taking place on Wednesday. So it'll still be Witchy Wednesday, but these are our next 12 topics for that class. So it's a deep dive into Black witchcraft during this time when the veil is thin. So yeah, I was researching, I was writing, I was doing my thing, and I'm struck over and over again by how the outer culture really tries to force a particular narrative on Black women and femmes and non-binary Black people, right? That there's a narrative that they try to force on us. And this narrative is forced so intensely and has been forced so intensely for the past 450 years that this narrative has become an integral part of Black culture. So the narrative that they're forcing on us, they're constantly shoving it down our throats. They're constantly making content with this narrative at the center. They're constantly creating reminders of this narrative. And tonight I wanted to open our eyes to that. I want to make sure your eyes are open to the ways in which this Black culture sabotages your magic by forcing you to live according to a narrative that is self-destructive. This narrative is destructive to you as a Black woman. And so whenever we acquiesce to it, whenever we give into it, whenever we find ourselves agreeing to it and living according to it, we are destroying ourselves and we are cutting off our access to our magic. We are placing obstacles on our journey to fulfill our destiny. We're putting the obstacles in our own way, right? So let's give a little insight into what I mean. So I am one who is always going to hearken unto the wisdom of our ancestral mothers. Our ancestral mothers left us with the keys to the queendom. And not only that, they left us breadcrumbs so that we could find our way through this morass and this pit of foolishness and nonsense that this culture tries to keep us in. They left us little signposts along the way. One of the signposts, and I've put this is the first link that you see that I put in the chat, is an essay written by Mother Audre Lorde, and it is called The Erotic as Power. So I'm going to read an excerpt from this essay, because this is going to give you an understanding. It's going to help you understand. It's going to open your eyes to the reality of who and what you are and how that thing that you are is being used by this society. There are many kinds of power, used and unused, acknowledged and otherwise. The erotic is a resource within each of us that lies in a deeply female and spiritual plane, firmly rooted in the power of our unexpressed or unrecognized feeling. In order to perpetuate itself, every oppression must corrupt or distort the various sources of power within the culture of the oppressed that can provide energy for change. Because of this, I'm paraphrasing here, as women, we have come to distrust that power which rises from our deepest and non-rational knowledge. You guys have heard me talk about the fact that we have been taught and groomed to favor rational knowledge over non-rational knowledge. This idea that there is a type of knowledge that is better than the other comes out of the white masculinist imperialism philosophy of enlightenment, led by white slaveholders such as Thomas Jefferson and Descartes. Descartes is the one who said, "I think, therefore I am." They are the ones that said there are rational ways of thinking and there are non-rational ways of thinking. And the rational ways of thinking take precedence over the non-rational ways of thinking. All of the non-rational ways of thinking are, of course, the foundation of the philosophies of people of color and women and femmes and non-binary people. All right. Let me repeat. As women, we have come to distrust that power which rises from our deepest and non-rational knowledge. We have been warned against it all our lives by the male world, which values this depth of feeling enough to keep women around in order to exercise it in the service of men, but which fears this same depth too, and it fears it too much to examine the possibilities of it within themselves. So women are maintained at a distant, inferior position to be psychically milked in the same way that ants maintain colonies of aphids to provide a life-giving substance for their masters. Psychically milked. Do you hear me? The first link will take you to the entire essay, so you can read that yourself. Psychically milked. When you hear me say, what? I am currency. You are currency. The Black woman is currency. This psychic milking is what I'm talking about. This psychic milking, the actual physical use of your body, and the social creation of a system that pulls from you and constantly drains you, is how you know that you're currency, and how you know that your so-called non-rational ways of thinking and being are of the highest value, the absolute highest value. So let's get on down. We're going to get on down. I know I put 10 in the title, but as the day wore on and that as I meditated on it deeper, there's 12. It's 12 ways that Black culture keeps you from your magic. 12 ways that Black culture sabotages your ability to practice your magic. So the first way is that it tells you that your skills, that your way of being, and that your very existence is only good enough to be used by a man. The purpose of your existence, the very reason that God created you, is to be the fodder, the feeding stuff, the fuel for the dreams of a man, the fuel for the destiny of a man. Black culture teaches us this. And I ain't finna argue. I ain't gonna argue with nobody in the comments about this. I'm a Black girl raised in a Black family in a Black neighborhood by Black people. So Black culture teaches Black women that you are only good enough, and your whole existence and the reason that you exist, according to God, is to be the fuel for the dreams of a man. This comes from the understanding that Black women are a commodity. Black women are a thing. Black women have been thingified. Our humanity has been stripped from us. Our spirituality has been stripped from us. And we are a thing to be used like I use this glasses, like we use this phone. This phone does not exist outside of my touching it and talking on it and doing the whatever on it, right? That's commodifying something, commodifying a person. So this is the first way that you are cut off from your magic. Because as you come into being, as you are born, as you know yourself, as you become sentient and realize that you are a separate being from your mother, as you begin to have feelings and thoughts and loves and ideas and desires, you are molded to suppress any desire that does not keep you in the state of being fueled for the dreams of some man. You're molded to suppress that. I was raised as a little girl hearing the words, I don't do that. Ain't nobody gonna want to marry you. Oh, ain't no husband gonna like you if you do that. Oh, don't nobody want to marry no woman who does so and so and so and so. So all my little girl desires, all my little girl behaviors, all my little girl audacity, all my little girl sassiness, all my little girl loudness and assertiveness and aggression was suppressed because my being exists simply as fuel for the desires of a man. When you make someone believe that their entire existence is an apology, then you have successfully cut them off from their magic. My being is magic. My face on this screen is magic. If you come and you sit beside me, you're going to feel magic. When you hear my voice coming through the speakers, you feel magic. If you sat in my presence and I didn't say a goddamn word, you would still feel magic. Right? So the magic is there. The magic is inherent. From the moment that we were conceived in the wombs of our mothers, the magic has been there with us. It is the magic that guided the conception. So the magic is there. There's no doubt that it's there. We see it in one another. We feel it in one another, right? It is the currency that we're all using to exist, right? But when you are taught to take that magic and only funnel it into the places that allow someone else to eat off of it, then you apologize anytime you use it for yourself. Anytime you use it for yourself. Oh, I'm just going to go over here and get me a little something to drink. Did y'all all eat? I'm going to go over here and fix me a little plate. Did everybody get what they wanted? I'm going to go on over here and get what I want. Are y'all good? Okay, I'm going to go over here and rest a little bit. Is everybody all right? You're apologizing for your very existence. You can't love anybody without apologizing for your existence in the midst of that love. Excuse me for taking up too much space. Excuse me for expecting fair treatment. Excuse me for expecting you to love me back. I'm sorry. I know I'm too much. I know I'm extra. Excuse me for being too loud. Excuse me for wearing my hair too big. Excuse me for my rings and my earrings and my anklets and stuff jangling. I'm sorry. You're apologizing for your existence. So when you see your goals shining at you in the distance and you look at it with longing, two things happen. You ask yourself, how the fuck am I going to have the energy to get there? And you say to yourself, people like me don't get to have that. Cut off from your magic. Sabotaged. Not allowed to merely exist and be. Cut off from your magic, psychically milked. That's the first way. That's way number one. The book that I'm using for tonight, The 12 Ways, is coming from my book, the 2023 Grimoire of the Black Witch. There is a link to purchase it in the bio. It is available on Amazon. Please feel free to go and purchase and enjoy. All right, the second way that you are sabotaged, that Black culture sabotages you and keeps you from your magic. I could pull this quote up again, but I ain't gonna do it. I ain't got time. I ain't got time, right? Tonight. It's not that long of a class. But the second way that Black culture sabotages you and keeps you from your magic was articulated by Mama Zora Neale Hurston. So the first way was articulated by Mama Audre Lorde. The second way was articulated by Mama Zora Neale Hurston. In the masterpiece, The Greatest Love Story Ever Written, Their Eyes Were Watching God, is the story of a Black woman falling in love with herself. And she said, the Black woman is the mule of the world. This is what we are using when we say, not your mule. We are getting that from Mama Zora's proclamation way back in the Harlem Renaissance. Mama said the Black woman is the mule of the world. She said the white man have the load, but he don't want to carry it, so he pass it to the Black man. And the Black man pretend to carry it as long as the white man is looking. But as soon as the white man turn his head, he throw the load on the back of the Black woman. Ain't nobody for the Black woman to throw it to, so the Black woman carry the load. The Black woman is the mule of the world. And so the second way that your magic is sabotaged is that you are groomed and you are raised to mule. You are raised to mule, right? And whenever you say, I'm not your mule, whenever you try to step outside of a personification of muling, the entire world pounces upon you and proceeds to remind you why the hell you is a mule. Right? Every time you try to say, no, I'm real. I'm human. I exist here autonomously for myself. The whole world jumps on you and reminds you, you know, you ain't nothing but a mule. Right? So you say, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to follow my wildest dreams and I'm going to become an important and a high-powered lawyer and I'm going to graduate at the top of my class and then I'm going to get my own talk show and I'm going to invite other Black women onto my talk show because I want the world to see how amazing we are and the things that we do. And you invite another Black woman onto your talk show. As you sit there in your glory and in your beauty and in the midst of the fruits of your labor, things that you have worked for decades, and the other Black woman who is an elder looks at you and says, would you marry a bus driver? Mule, reminding you that you a mule. You got all this. You done worked hard for all of this. You done battled racism and sexism and all kind of harassment. We know she was constantly harassed. In law school, we know she's harassed at her job right now. We know microaggressions and macroaggressions is what she's putting up with right now. And instead of another Black woman being able to look at her and say, sister, you bad. Damn, sister, you the shit. Damn, sister, you got it going on. She reminds her that she's a mule. You think you got it going on, but you ain't nothing but a mule. Would you marry a bus driver? You wouldn't. That's a problem. Would you take the load of somebody else on your back and drag them along, even though they haven't taken the time to be self-actualized, even though they have shied away from the dangers and the racisms and the microaggressions that your ass had to push through to get to the position that you're in, even though they are sitting there with the privilege that being born with a penis has granted them in this society, and they still ain't stepped up and did as much as you did. Your place is to take them on your back and carry them. And don't you forget it, even though you sitting up here on your high horse. Would you marry a bus driver, mule? That's what mules is supposed to do. Mules is supposed to pull shit around. That's what happens. That's what happens. And when a Black man does take the time to build a multi-million-dollar company And of course, goes and creates children with a non-Black woman because nobody wants to have kids with a mule once they're millionaires. He gets to sit on a show and say shit like, well, as a Black woman, Black women in particular, they don't need to bother themselves with finding somebody that's on their level. They don't need to bother themselves with finding somebody that has done the same work that they have done. They don't need to bother themselves with finding somebody who has pushed through all these isms and schisms to make it to where they're trying to be. Now, Black women are mules. So, Black woman, would you marry somebody who can just pay the light bill? Because you got a mule and pay all the rest of them bills. You need to marry somebody that can just pay the light bill. Because you know you a mule. That's what all of that is for. That's what that's for. Is to remind you of your position in Black society as a mule. Now, in white society, you are a mammy. They are expecting to just be able to nurse on you forever and ever, amen. But in Black society, baby, you a mule. And they gonna go out of their way to remind you every so often something's got to come up so that you don't forget that you a mule. Right? Second way that you are sabotaged and cut off from your magic. If you believe that it is your duty to pull along other people who do not have the presence of mind to pull their own weight, if that is what you're putting all of your weight into, all of your energy into, let me pull everybody along. If you believe that that is your duty, when it is time for you to go and reach your goal that you can see shining in the distance, you ain't going to have the energy to do it. When it's time for you to cast those spells that must be cast, there's no other way to deal with racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, horrible things that we, Black women, Black femmes, Black non-binary people are always dealing with. Do y'all realize that the only way we're alive and dealing with those things is through magic? Are you admitting to yourself the magic that you're making every day, baby? Just being here, just filling up my chat, just 93 of y'all in this live. We magic, baby. It's magic just to be here. You know I'm not lying. You know I'm not lying. If I ask you right now, you can tell me the hell you had to go through today just to come and sit here with me tonight. That's magic, baby. That's magic. Don't ever let nobody tell you different. I'm an elder. And if somebody think it's different, go on, send them to me. Put them in my inbox. I'll set them straight. That's magic, baby. But you are being told that magic and everything that you achieve via that magic actually belongs to someone else. You have created a soft space for yourself to land. You have covered your space with satins and velvets and fur. And that's for somebody else. That ain't for you. Don't you recline your Black ass back on that. That ain't for you. That's for somebody else. So when you see your glorious, big, fat, beautiful destiny shining in the distance, you ain't got no energy left over to fight the isms and schisms and get to it, because you're using your energy to carry somebody on your back because you a mule. That's the second way that Black culture cuts you off and sabotages you from your magic. That's the second way. And yeah, I'm going right through my book. In my book, everything that I'm telling you tonight, I got the spell that breaks it. The spell to break this is in the book. The link to buy the book is in the chat. Right? So I wrote these spells so that we could break this duty that we feel to take care of everybody else but ourselves. That's why I wrote these spells. That's where these spells come from. All right. Third way that Black culture keeps you from your magic is by making you believe that you are other. That you, your look, your existence, your body, your way of being is abject, is strange, it's abnormal. By making you believe that you are some sort of unhuman, unbeing, right? By constantly telling you that your way of looking, your way of manifesting in physical form is not only not enough, but it's bad and it's wrong. What's the nursery rhyme? Everybody can put it up in the chat because little Black girls, we're raised with this. They start making sure that we know this from the time we come out the womb. It say, if you white, you all right. If you brown, stick around. If you Black, get back. Right? It's letting you know from the time you come out the womb that the way you look, oh, it's something wrong with it. There's something wrong with that. Right? I remember one time years ago, I don't remember their names, but a news anchor was asked. Well, you know what? Let's not even go back that far because y'all ain't as old as me. Y'all might not remember that. But we seen the current interviews of First Lady Michelle Obama. And ever since she left the White House, she been rocking her braids real hard. And we were, happy to see her rocking her braids, happy to see her in the White House. But she's been asked in interviews why she didn't ever wear her hair like that when she was in the White House. I can't show up with my hair all over my head. What does it mean for your hair to be all over your head? When our grandmama said, don't go out there and have your hair all over your head, what was they talking about? What was they talking about? Michelle said she can't be out here with her hair all over her head. She couldn't be up in the White House with her hair all over her head. They was talking about this hair. Your hair ain't fixed. Thank you, Nikki. Your hair got to be fixed. You won't fix shit unless it's broken. Am I right? You won't fix shit unless it's broken. When you fixing something, that's because that shit is broke. We wasn't allowed. If my mother was still on the physical plane, she would give me grief about this hair every day. Every time she saw me, she would give me grief about this hair, right? My mother gave me grief about my locks. When I first went natural way back in 1990, my mother gave me grief, right? About this hair right here. Because this is my hair being all over my head, right? So the third way that you are sabotaged and that you are cut off from your magic is because you are constantly reminded that the way that you show up is wrong, it's bad, and it's unwanted. It's unwanted. Nobody wants that. We don't want that around. Get that out of here. If we go to a club, Trey Songz and Chris Brown, now I'm being facetious. Don't nobody want to be in a section with them. But y'all see the point that I'm making. If we go to a club, Trey Songz and Chris Brown gonna say, no, they can't come in here. It's gonna be a sign that say the girls that look like us ain't allowed in their section. see what I'm saying? We don't want that around. The way y'all look, we don't want that around. You see what I'm saying? This is black culture. This is black culture. Right? And people can say whatever they want to say, but baby, I done been to the Caribbean. Baby, I done been to West Africa. And baby, I live in the Black South of the United States of America. And I'm going to tell you, anywhere I go in those places, black people saying the same thing. Now, I ain't saying this is how our culture originally was, but I'm talking about how the shit is right now. What we're dealing with every day right now. Right? Exactly. You wearing shapewear as a baby. Squeezing it in as a baby. Right, because the way we show up in the world is wrong. The way we exist in the world is wrong. I saw a Facebook post one time from a black man. He lives down here in Florida. I think he may be Caribbean, but I don't know. I don't know him personally. It's just a Facebook friend that I had. And he talked about how when black women go to the gym and put on gym clothes that you supposed to wear to the gym, they know what they doing. They putting on gym clothes. Every now and again, you will see, it'll pop up every now and again, a black woman in her security uniform, or a black woman in her scrubs, or a black teacher in some khakis and a polo shirt. And because of how the black feminine shape, if you estrogen dominant, the way that's going to make you be shaped, that looks different in scrubs. That looks different in a security guard's uniform or a police officer's uniform. That looks different in some khakis and a polo shirt than how other women's or other estrogen dominant people's bodies look in that. And so every now and again, you're going to see a post and going to say, is this appropriate? Is it appropriate for a black woman or femme to exist in her body and be at work? That's what that question is asking. Is this appropriate? When they wear gym clothes in the gym, they know what they're doing. Yeah, we're putting on gym clothes to go to the gym. That's what's happening. Them little girls is fast. Why they got them shorts on? Because it's hot. Why they got on them spandex shorts? Because they going to work out, or they going to cheerleading practice, or they taking a walk with their friends. The way that a person's body normally develops due to hormones is they know what they doing. Is that appropriate? Do you feel me? Do you feel me? Do you feel what is constantly being fed to you? What is constantly being said to you? So you don't have the right to exist. Your existence should be fuel for somebody else's destiny. The way that you think is wrong, incorrect, and you need to be thinking about pulling somebody else along. The way that you show up in your body, the way that the hair naturally grows out of your head, the way that your body naturally forms due to the hormones that flow through your body is wrong. It doesn't belong. It's not desirable, and we don't want to see it. Do not bring it out in public. Cover it. Nobody wants to see it. Modify it. Make it okay for us, because the way that it naturally happens is wrong. They started doing this to our ancestral mothers. The first law that they wrote about it, they call it the Tinyan laws, where they said that our hair was so big and defied gravity, and it was so elaborate that it was a distraction to white men. And so they said we must cover it if we're going to be out in public. Cover all that old wild hair. Cover all that old hair all over your head. We don't want to see it. Don't exist over here in our sight. This is another way that they are sabotaging you and cutting you off from your magic. When they are making you believe that beauty is synonymous with white proximity. right? The closer you are to white, the more beautiful you are. The less black you are, the more beautiful you are. When they're making you believe that the power of beauty, the power of allure, the power of attraction is connected to white proximity, bullshit. That's a way to cut you off from your magic. Because, baby, when you walk in the room with this gravity defying hair, your magic is apparent to everyone in the room. Baby, when you walk in the room with this sun-kissed skin, black as an ace of spade, baby, the blacker the better. Your magic is apparent to everyone in the room. Ain't nobody in the room unclear on the fact that you are pure, unadulterated magic. When you just walk in the room, when you walk in the room with the carrier of the rhythm of life, your magic is apparent to everyone in the room. When you walk in the room with the divine sustainers of life, your magic is apparent to everyone in the room. They're not unclear. They're not wondering. They looking at you and seeing and feeling the magic. The purpose of all this other bullshit that they pouring down our throat and pouring in our ears is to make you not see the magic. And to make you believe that how you show up naturally in your body is ugly and undesirable. And, oh, we don't want that around. Don't show nobody that. Don't let nobody see that. That's to make you believe it. Because if you believe it, then you can't use it. That is the third way. And so, when you believe that you are abhorrent, that you are an aberration, that you are something not to be seen, that you must hide and mask yourself in order to just exist, then you use your magic to make yourself invisible. You begin to perform invisibility, and you make sure that you're not seen and that you're not heard. My mother raised us with the adage that we should be seen and not heard. But when I became a grown woman, I found myself in situations where I wasn't supposed to be seen or heard. And I learned how to do it. I learned how to turn myself off like a light switch. And I know today how to walk through places and people won't even know that I have been there. We hide. We get behind a veil of invisibility. And because we believe and we buy the propaganda that's being pushed down our throat that we should not be seen. And because so many times when we fought against it and we fought to be seen, it was dangerous. And everybody saw it as a threat. And we were attacked for just existing. Our existence caused people to attack us. Then we learn how to not be seen. And you can't do no magic while you hiding. You can't do no magic while you keeping your real self underneath a bushel. You can't do no magic with your light turned off, your light of yourself turned off. You can't do no magic while you pretending not to be here. While you are acting as if you don't have the right to exist, you cannot do any magic. Magic doesn't come to that, and your destiny cannot come to meet you. Your destiny is out here looking for you, and she don't recognize you because you invisible. You pretending to be something else. You don't look like you, you don't smell like you, and most of the time, you're not even fully present. You all outside your body. So your destiny is looking for you and she can't find you. Sabotaged, cut off from your magic. That's another way that you are cut off from your magic. That's way number 4. Number 5. Everything that happens in the universe comes forth from a seed that's planted in the spiritual realm. And the seed is planted in the fertile soil of the spiritual realm and it grows into the physical. If I put a mango seed in the ground, mango tree is what's going to grow. If I put a watermelon seed in the ground, a watermelon vine with watermelons on it is what's going to grow. When we came from the spirit realm and we put a black girl, a black person, a black femme seed in the soil of the spiritual realm, this is what grew. This is what grew. Right? So if I planted a mango seed, I wouldn't go in my yard and expect to see a papaya tree. Right? If I planted a moringa tree, I wouldn't go in my yard and expect to see a breadfruit tree growing. But we gathered ourselves and the stuff that made us and the elements of ourselves from the spirit realm. And we knew at the point of the gathering that we wanted to be this. And we planted ourselves in the fertile soil of the spirit. And when this grew out of it, we were taught to be appalled. So we are a flower waiting to bloom. We are a fruit waiting to manifest on the end of the vine. Most of us are still only existing as a seedling. Most of us are not allowing ourselves to bloom. Most of us go out of our way not to take up space. Most of us go out of our way not to make noise. Most of us go out of our way not to bloom. Can you perform any magic if you are keeping your entire spirit in its infantile state? The seedling is not a mango tree. But if you stunt the seedling's growth and keep it in seedling form, it ain't gonna never be a mango tree. If your destiny is to be a mango tree, you got to bloom. You got to open up. You got to be seen and heard and felt and smelled and experienced. You got to take up space in the garden. 5th way that you are sabotaged from your magic. You are not allowed to bloom. You are kept in an infantile spiritual state so that your magic can be sucked off of by others. Psychically milked is what our mother, Audre Lorde, said. That's the breadcrumb that she left for us. You are being psychically milked. And that's why you can't be a full mango tree. A full mango tree ain't controllable. A full mango tree spreads out and grows up and drops fruit wherever the hell she feels like it. And bats come and eat it, and birds come and eat it, and people come and eat some of it, and monkeys come and eat it. A full mango tree participates in the universe. That seedling can't do that. That seedling can't bear fruit. You are not allowed to bloom. That's the 5th way that you are cut off. 6th way that you are cut off is you are not allowed to play. You are not given the luxury of amusement. And when others see you amusing yourself, they are angry. Now, I am not the hugest Beyonce fan. So I was teasing people online all some about how much y'all pay for them tickets. And woo, this Silver LeMay got y'all in a chokehold. I was teasing people online. I was trolling and fucking with people online about that. But whenever a Black woman would say, but I had so much fun, my response would be, I'm so happy that you had that fun. That fun was deserved. That fun was deserved. Right? When you dressed up in your silver and you flaunted and you danced and you went on mute and you did your thing, baby, that's deserved. I don't have to be a fan to know that you deserved to play. You deserve to go and have fun. Right? You did. And if you were able, to me, the buying of the ticket is part of the fun. You see what I'm saying? I'm your elder sister now. I got to tease you. I got to fuck with you. Right? But the buying of the ticket is part of the fun. The fact that they swear that this economy is terrible and we ain't supposed to be able to do nothing. And Black women was out here like, whatever. I'm buying me a ticket. I'm getting me an outfit. And I'm finna be up in this concert muting myself. That's playing. That's fun. Do you hear me? How many think pieces were written about how you shouldn't be allowed to have that fun? You are not allowed to play. When they see you out here playing, they be mad. They be mad. You see my sister, my goddaughter, my sister up in here, Mama Oya Fumike. Me and her have both escaped from some situations and moved on closer to Yemunja, on to the coastline. And if you go on her page, you go on my page, you're going to see us walking along the beach. You're going to see us walking in the sunshine. You're going to see us sitting on our porch and letting the sun shine on us. And people is mad. Niggas is mad. People is mad that we sitting on the porch. Fist Pump Sister puts up beautiful montages of her simply sweeping her porch, of her simply pouring libation with beautiful figurines of the Buddha on her front porch. And she light her incense and she do her thing. And niggas is mad. Niggas is mad that this sister is sweeping her own front porch and lighting incense at her own house where her husband and her children live. What? Niggas is mad. Niggas is mad at y'all being at the Beyonce concert. It tickles me. They mad. They mad that me and my sister moved to the coastline. Well, how much do it cost to live in Florida? More than you got. They mad. Niggas is mad. Because, baby, you ain't supposed to play. Play is an act of the imagination. The imagination is the root of magic. Everything that we see started in somebody's imagination. Nikki, that girl, they mad that we got eyelashes. They mad that we get our nails done. They mad that we get our hair done. That shit is wild to me. Niggas be mad because you ain't supposed to play. A way to cut somebody off from their magic is to keep them from playing. Let me tell you about being an educator. If you're an educator and you work with children, this is not, well, it will probably work for university children as well, but the university doesn't allow us to do that. When you're working with younger children and you find a child that is, kind of, pulled into themselves, they've been through something. One of the most magical things that you can do for that child is to take them outside every day and just get a little running happening. Nothing competitive, nothing that somebody can look at them and say you're doing it wrong, but just a little running, right? Just a little moving around. May kick a ball back and forth a little bit, a little bit. Might pick some flowers. Just put your feet in the grass. Just go and sit by the sea and listen to the ocean. There is so much healing, you know, in just playing. Come on, recess. Come on, recess. Right? There's healing in that. And there's magic. Because to play, you have to use your imagination. When y'all was getting ready to go to the Beyonce concert, y'all had to figure out what your silver outfit was going to look like. Y'all visualized it before y'all went and bought it and put it on. Right? When me and Mama Oyafumike said we was going to move to the coast, and she moved down to Gullah Geechee land, I moved down here to Seminole land. But we had to visualize what that move was going to look like. And what kind of house was we going to get? And what kind of thing was we going to do? Imagination, right? When Fist Pump Sister get ready to get up in the morning and go do her libation to keep her house clean and safe and protected from foolishness and nonsense, she got to visualize what that's going to look like. She got to conceive of what she's even going to say. What words is she going to use? You got to play. But we are taught, and what's shoved down our throat in this society is that we don't have the right to play. Mules ain't supposed to play. Now that's people who don't know mules. I'm from the country. I know mules, and mules do be playing. But y'all get the metaphor. Mules is supposed to mule. Mules ain't supposed to play. So this is the sixth way that you're cut off from your magic, is that you are not allowed to play, to imagine, to have a recess, to enjoy, to run, to jump, to skip, to dance, to move, to ride the horses, to ride the bikes, to climb the mountains, to do the things. You're not allowed. They mad at you when they see you playing. The seventh way that they cut you off from your magic, that you are sabotaged from practicing your magic, is that they tell you that you don't know what you were born for. None of us know why we're here. Why am I here is the great question of the universe. None of us know. I don't know if y'all can hear my man child hollering in the background, but that's not no man. Well, that is a man in my house. It's the man that I made. And he's hollering at his sister so they can finish cleaning up the kitchen. Nothing dangerous is happening. It's just teenagers hollering at each other. I don't know if y'all can hear. Right? You are taught that you don't know why you were born. You are taught that you don't have any idea why you were born. And if they can make you believe that you don't know why you're born, then they can tell you why you were born. Ashe, Ashe. I'm loving all of y'all's examples of playing in the chat. That's what I'm about to say, Jane. Let me lean in. Let you in on a secret. As a mother and as a teacher, you know why you're born. You know what you came here to do. And you've known since you was a little old bitty thing. That thing that you knew that you wanted to do when you were a little old bitty thing, that's why you were born. That thing that has always called to you and pulled to you, that's why you were born. Right? I started writing at 11 years old. I started writing at 11 years old. I told my mother at 11 that I was going to be a writer, and she bought me a Brother typewriter. And I began to write then. Right? You know why you were born. Right? But you are told that you don't. And if you can make someone believe that this is a great question and that their life has no direction and that you got to wait for the sky daddy to come down from on high to let you know why you were born, that cuts you off from your magic. That cuts you off from your magic. All right. That's the 7th way. What is the 8th way that you are cut off from your magic? The 8th way is that you are made to believe that your ancient cultural practices are demonic and wicked and evil. You are, yes, it was blue with a case, yes. You are made to believe that your ancient cultural practices are evil. This cuts you off from the very root of your magic. Right? Oh, what's that Doja Cat is doing? She worshiping the devil. If Doja Cat isn't Christian, then there's no devil in her tradition. Oh, they going to see Beyonce and that horse that she's sitting on, part of the Illuminati. The Illuminati is a group of old white men from the 1800s that enslaved Black people. I'm not saying that people in Hollywood are not in a secret society. What I'm saying is it ain't that one, baby. It ain't that one. Right? What's that? Why she always throwing up this symbol? Why they always got this on? Beyonce out here singing about Oshun. That ain't Jesus. It's not. Solange on her page giving offering to the ancestors. That ain't Jesus. You know they into that voodoo because they mama from Louisiana. They cut you off from your spiritual practices by teaching you that your spiritual practices are of the devil, are demonic, are dangerous, are bad. So you cut off at the root the very things that your grandmothers did so that you could survive in this hellish place. You're told not to. That's superstition. Don't do that. That's superstition. We don't throw salt over our shoulders. We don't spit on no broom. We don't put brick dust in front of the door. We don't paint our front door blue. We don't do none of that. That's superstition. That's of the devil. We don't mess with that astrology. We don't talk about them orishas. Everything that your grandmother taught you to do to keep yourself alive, you out here believing this superstition. But it ain't superstition to believe that somebody was made out of somebody's rib. That ain't superstition. It ain't superstition to believe that a snake talked to somebody and made them eat a fruit and caused all the evil in the world. That ain't superstition. Everyone is entitled to their own mythology, right? And as a literary person, I don't knock anybody's mythology. I love everybody's mythology. But everybody's mythology is based in metaphors and similes. Everybody's mythology is based in that. That's why it's mythology. So your mythology doesn't get to be the truth. And then my mythology gets regulated to bad and negative and demonic. That's not how that works. Mythology is mythology. It's full of metaphors and similes, as it should be. And yours is just as mythological as everybody else's. But that is, what is this, 8? The 8th way that you are cut off from your magic. You are made to believe that your spiritual practices are negative and bad. The 9th way is very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And I myself was victim to it for a long time, decades upon decades. You are taught in Black culture not to protect yourself. Black women, black femmes, black non-binary people. We are taught not to protect ourselves. We are taught not to have our own interests at heart. We are taught to put the safety of other people in front of ourselves. And we are taught that we are the sacrificial lamb in our culture. The woman is the sacrificial lamb. And we got to just take that. We got to just take that. What happened a couple of weeks ago? That girl was out and somebody hit her in the face with a brick. And nobody came and said, damn, don't be hitting sisters in the face with bricks. That's extreme. That ain't necessary. Because she moved to protect herself by saying, somebody hit me with a brick and I wish they hadn't. She moved to protect herself by saying that. Yeah, I don't care if it was a scam. Hear what I'm saying. What happened when she got hit by a brick? What happened? Right. She came on the news with the report. I don't care. And if it was a scam, I still don't care. Are y'all paying attention to what happened when a black woman came and said she got hit by a brick? Are y'all paying attention to that? Or are we just going to say it was a scam? We're not going to pay attention to that. We're going to pretend that we shouldn't listen to that. Right. And she was wrong for coming and saying somebody hit me with a brick. She was wrong before anybody ever said it was a scam. She was wrong just for saying somebody hit me with a brick. She was not wrong because it was a scam. That's not what her wrongness was lying in. Go and read back over the stuff. She was wrong because she dared to say, I wish somebody hadn't hit me with a brick. Yeah. Somebody said they saw it and didn't regret not helping her. Nobody jumped out and said, don't hit people with bricks. Why didn't nobody say that? When Megan got shot in the foot, everybody said that was a scam too. And the people who believe it's a scam probably still believe it's a scam. The woman got shot in the foot. Nobody came and said, shouldn't shoot people in the foot. Nobody came and said that. I don't really believe she got shot in the foot. It's the same bullshit. I don't really believe she got hit with a brick. It was a scam. Why? Why don't you believe it? First of all, people who saying it's a scam, why don't you believe it? You ain't never known a woman to get hit by a brick. You ain't never known a black woman to get hit by a brick. Lie again. Lie again. We all know black women that's been hit with worse. Talking about it's a scam. If that one is a scam, the one that you grew up and saw wasn't a scam. The one that happened down the street from your house wasn't a scam. The one that was happening next door wasn't a scam. If that one was a scam, the one that you saw wasn't a scam. The one that you know about personally, that wasn't a scam. Right? So even if this one was, the one that you know of ain't. Be honest. This is what I mean. You have been this is a whole class about the way that black women are cut off from their magic. And black women and femmes is up in my chat saying black women ain't got a right to protect themselves. It's people in my chat saying that. That's how deeply ingrained this is. That's how deeply ingrained. You was interested in this class, so something about it pulled to you. But you still believe that you don't have the right to protect yourself. You believe it so strongly that you say, when we see a black woman get the shit knocked out of her, it was a scam. Bullshit. We've grown up seeing black women get the shit knocked out of them. Please quit playing with me. Go and play that with somebody else. You want to pretend? This isn't a place to pretend, baby. I'm a witch. I'm not here to play and pretend. I'm not here to put on the mask. I done taught a whole class about how I'm not invisible. And you think I'm going to play a game? So if that little girl didn't get hit by a brick, we know 30 more that did. If Meg didn't get shot in the foot, we know 45 women who did get shot in the foot. We know 45 women that's dead. Don't play with me. Don't get up in my chat playing with me. That's bullshit. And this is what I'm talking about. And this is what I'm talking about. We shouldn't be protecting ourselves. She wasn't telling the truth. Black women should be out here and just allow themselves to be used and victimized and to shut up about it. That's what should be happening. That's the proper order of things. This is exactly what I mean. This is what I mean. Right? This is precisely what I'm talking about. And that cuts you off from your magic. Self-preservation, my friends, is the first law. If you do not have the desire to preserve and protect yourself and defend yourself against attack, you are cut off from your own source of power. Now, it's raining down here in Florida. And when Shango comes out here in Florida, the internet act wonky. So if the internet act wonky, I'll start a new live. All right? So that is a huge way. Thank you. We ain't gonna tend like. We ain't finna sit here and tend like black women don't be getting attacked like that. Bullshit. Quit playing. Don't play in my comments, baby. Go play in somebody else's. Don't play in my chat. Go play somewhere else. No. We not the 1, 2, nor the 3 up in here. Sure enough ain't. Protect, because you have been socialized. We see an evidence of it right here. Not to protect yourself and not to protect or be protective of other people who look like you, and not to believe the people who look like you, you're cut off from your magic. I want you guys to look at everything that is happening in the Supreme Court right now. All of this terrible bullshit that's happening in the Supreme Court right now. And a black woman stood up decades ago and said, do not elect this person. He is dangerous and he cannot be trusted. And everybody said just what y'all said in the comments. That's a scam. That ain't true. That didn't really happen. And now the motherfucker has been elected and he's just as terrible as Anita Hill said he was. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. Who would you need alongside you for protection if war was to pop off? Baby, this is war. That we living in war right now. So I'm going to protect myself in the same way that I do. In the same way that I do. Who would I need alongside me? The same people that stand with me now. The same people that stand with me now. I descend from warrior women. I'm not an Abrahamic woman. I don't come from helpmeets and handmaidens. I descend from the great wives of the leopard, who were the greatest warrior women to ever live. People can try to step to me if they want to. My mother taught me, baby, when I was 16, if anybody step up in your house to try to take anything from you, make sure they leave in a box. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. So who would I need alongside me? Baby, who you see alongside me right here? Who you see alongside me? Right. That's who been protecting me. And that's who gonna protect me and mine. And I always have. Always have. Right? Yeah, I'm not worried. You missing the whole point. You missing the whole point. Right? Because if I'm sitting up waiting for somebody else to come and protect me, that person is liable to hit me in my face with a brick. So yes, the way that you do not protect yourself cuts you off from your magic. I ain't blocking nobody. They up in my chat. They up in my chat. So you want to fuck around? You want to fuck around? You really think that you want to fuck around with the Black Witch magic? Oh, baby, I hope you sleep good tonight. I hope your dreams are sweet. Nah, I ain't blocking nobody. Stay up in the chat. Stay on up in the elements, baby. Stay on up in the elements. I hope your mama taught you good and you know what you fucking with. I hope you know. Because I ain't nothing to play with. It ain't nothing about me that's made you think you finna come up in here and play with me. But come on with your games, baby. I didn't even take gems. Hope you sleep good, though. Hope you sleep good. All right. 10th way that you are cut off from your magic is because you refuse to bury your enemies. You refuse to bury your enemies. And you keep aligning yourself with forces that have proven to be antagonistic to you. Antagonistic to you. You refuse to bury, you scared to bury your enemies. You think, I gotta be nice and I gotta be their friend and I need them alongside me when the war come. Baby, I've been fighting wars since them people came on the continent of Africa. I've been fighting and winning wars since them people came on this continent. I've been fighting them. The first democratic society formed in this hemisphere was Palmaris, and it was formed by a Dahomean woman who fought the Portuguese so fiercely that they just gave her own land in Brazil. So, baby, you confused about who you looking at. I'm not what y'all call them, a virtuous woman. I ain't none of them, and have no desire to be. 10th way you cut off from your magic. You refuse to bury your enemies. That cuts you off from your magic. You are linked up with people who don't have your best interests at heart. You are linked up with people who think that you are less than them. You are linked up with motherfuckers who believe that you can't survive without their crust in your life. You're linked up with that. Kawo Kabie Soleil. Y'all see Shango giving the amen. Y'all see Shango in the amen corner. You linked up with them. You think them people is your friends. You think them people is your lovers. You think them people is your ride or die. You think that's all you need to get by. Right? You think that's the method man to your Mary J. That's what you think is happening. Right? You bury your enemies. When you refuse to bury your enemies, you cut yourself off from your magic because your enemies will continue to sap your power. See how they up in here trying to take all the air out of the room? Mm-mm. Can't nobody take the wind out of my sails, baby. I'm sovereign and beautiful and luscious all at the same time. Way number 11. Don't converse. Don't converse. Don't converse. Yeah. Let that be. Let that be what it is. When you conversing with somebody like that, you're giving them honey. You're giving them honey. And the thing about honey is it's not easily acquired. And the thing about honey is that it is ridiculously expensive because it's difficult to get. So don't give them no honey, baby. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just wish them sweet dreams. Wish them sweet dreams and let that be that. Way number 11 that you are cut off from your magic is you refuse to move. You refuse to move. You act as though you are a tree. You act as though you are a mountain. You act as though you are planted and cannot move into spaces that are softer and more beautiful and better for you. You refuse to move. My son is 17, 19 years ago. I moved abroad with 4 children on a teacher's salary. And now wasn't nobody by my side. I did it by my goddamn self, like I do everything else. And did it beautifully and sexily, like I do everything else. But I moved abroad with my 4 children, and we lived for a time on the beautiful island of Barbados, and we still have extended family there. Because when you become so ridiculously uncomfortable and so ridiculously burdened in one place, move, baby. You got to move. Right? Move. That's the 11th way that you are cut off from your magic, is because you refuse to move. You believe that you are a mountain. You believe that you are a tree. Move. Right? Move. All right. Final way and 12th way that you are cut off from your magic. And this is, all of these ways are based in Black culture. Black culture teaches us not to move. I remember when I was married to my first husband, and it was time for me to return to school. And during that first marriage, I had lived in Birmingham, Alabama with my first husband and his family. And it was time for me to take the children that I had given birth to within that marriage and return to school at the illustrious Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, Fisk forever. And fear was thrown all on my plans. Fear was thrown on my plans. If you leave from here, you're not going to have nobody to help you with the kids. If you leave from here, Fear was placed on my moving. It's a part of Black culture to make people fearful to move. Right? Move. You're not a tree. You're not a mountain. You're afraid to move. 12th and final way, you do not have a plan. You are afraid to plan because all of those other 11 reasons that I have just given you make you believe that the universe doesn't have your back. Amen, lights. So because you believe that the universe doesn't have your back, you're afraid to plan. This is the final way that you are cut off from your magic. Y'all hear me? Okay, this has been our full hour and a half. These are the 12 ways that Black culture is sabotaging your magic. Within my book are the 12 ways to break those spells. The link to the book is in the chat. I'll put it up in there again now, because I know the chat done been rolling. So that is the book. And also, the next 12 classes that I teach will be classes on how to break these spells that keep us from fully interacting with our magic. The way that I have the classes set up is so that you have a weekly fee that is 20% less than what the classes would normally be. And you will get all of the classes that you need once you have begun that process and become a member. Woo, Baba is getting down out there. He cleansing it all. We are so grateful, Baba. Thank you so much. And then you will have access to the classes every week. So the group that I'm creating so that we can together break this cycle of not having access to our magic is the kinship coven. I kept the price super, super low so that it wouldn't hinder you from being able to participate. But a coven is a group of witches that come together to do spells and magic together. Kinship comes from the term kinship circle, which is what we have as opposed to families. Families have a connotation of a domineering male head, and those domineering male heads have proven over and over again to be very destructive. So it's not a family, it's a kinship circle, and it is a kinship coven, a group of witches coming together as a family to create magic together, to protect each other, and to mentor each other. So it will be a class similar to this. We'll do the spell work for each of those 12 things we just went through. We will do our own personal spell to break those 12 things. It's in the book, How to Do the Spell. And then the class will end and we'll go into a mentorship Zoom where each person will be able to share what's happening with their week, what's going on, and we'll mentor to each other over the magical things that are happening that week, right? Because life is happening in cycles. As we talked about in the class, time is over. And as we hit those cycles, those of us who have been through them before might have some ways of dealing with them. Those of us who are just now going into the cycle might have some ways of dealing with it, right? Life is in cycles. So we want to sit in our kinship circle and say, these are the ways I'm dealing with that cycle. This is what I'm eating. This is what I'm drinking. This is the dance I'm doing. This is the kind of love I'm making. These are the tools that I'm using to deal with this cycle. That's going to be what's happening in the mentorship. All right. Okay, hold on. I'm going to read up. So, yes, there is a link to purchase the book that I just put in the chat. And there is a link to join. I hope I did. Did I put the... I may have to put it again. And there is a link to join the kinship coven. Let me try it again. I know this chat ain't up in here not putting my links up. It's my chat, YouTube. Oh, okay, it's putting them up. I was about to, it wasn't about to go well. I was about to cuss somebody out. All right, appreciate you. Okay. So that is the book, and that is this. Okay, this is a shirt that I was selling before. It says ecstasy, abundance, and bliss. Y'all know that's how I end everything. That's my benediction. But no, this particular shirt has been discontinued. But on the site, you will find the uppity niggers shirt. You will find the I am currency shirt. You will find the not your mule shirt. You will find the destructress shirt, right? On the site, you will find all of those shirts. All right. Oh, I love that. I'm so glad. All right, guys, we are going to call it a night. It has been magnificent and glorious. It has been beautiful. There is nothing more enriching, nothing more empowering than sitting in the presence of Black women and femmes and non-binary people. Your presence is enriching because you are currency. Do not forget it. You are currency. You are the very capital that this entire thing is built off of. Never let anyone distract you and throw you off of what you are here to do. Don't let anyone distract you from that. Your currency, baby. Now, we do have the shirts and I also have the pillows on the site. So you can get your I am currency pillow and you can also get your not your mule pillow. Thank you for reminding me, Oshun sister, about the different things that are on the site. I appreciate it. All right. So we will do our benediction. This weekend, I will be on my way to Atlanta to participate in the Matahochi Festival. My godfather, we are celebrating his legacy this weekend. The Sweetwater Collective, my Elay, will be giving a panel discussion on indigenizing the practices of our ancestors. And then on the second day, we will be having a bembe. So if you are in Atlanta or any of the surrounding areas, we would love to see you there. We would love to have you come in fellowship and to worship and to have reverence for the great Matahochi Kofi Omiwali Zanu with us. All right. Ecstasy, abundance, and bliss. To everyone within the sound of my voice who is wishing the same for me and mine. And as always, we wish the lessons of life on those who are ignorant enough to wish us otherwise. And we wish sweet dreams. On all the trolls. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Peace.